everyone. Today we're going to be demonstrating the maintenance that needs to be performed on a 310 series. We're going to start off by showing you how to grease the machine, and this needs to be done at least on a yearly basis. We're going to start by taking off the end cover on the drive housing. It takes a 7/32 Allen wrench. There's just 5 screws you need to take off and remove, and then set the end cover aside. After the end cover is removed, that will expose the gears and the drive end. And we want to just apply some fifth wheel grease to these gears to make sure they're covered and well lubed for a long life. So please make sure the machine is turned off and the gears are not rotating when you apply the fifth wheel grease. But you can see here about how much grease should be on the gears. Now it's time to grease the bending roll gearboxes and the pinch roll bearing cases. There should be one on each side of the machine, and as you can see, there's just a little Greek zerk there that you can just get your regular grease gun and fill it up that way. So it kind of varies depending on how often you've done this. You should be doing it once a year, but just give it a pump or a couple pumps there, enough until you see the grease start to come out of the bearing case or gearbox. One of the most common issues people have is that the top roll gets out of adjustment, so that whenever you take it off the frame there, it drops down when you swing it out, and when you go to put it back, you have to lift the roll or push on it hard to get it to go back into position there. Under normal circumstances, this shouldn't happen. It should just pull out straight and level. But over time, the counterbalance plate can get out of adjustment and the roll can start to sag. So now let's go back over to the drive end. You can see the counterbalance plate here that the top roll bearing will roll against when it swings in and out. There's a plate there that is held in place with some bolts and then some set screws to adjust the height of it. So if you think of it, the bolts are kind of sucking the plate to the top and the set screws are pushing it down. Okay, now let's go to the top of the machine where we will make our adjustments. So we need a 3/4 inch open end wrench to take off the acorn nuts. Once we do that, that will expose the socket head cap screws that will do the adjusting. So in other words, what we're wanting to do here is we're wanting to push the counterbalance plate down so that it will raise the drop inside, because there's a leverage point there. So if we push down on the drive inside, the far side of the top roll will raise up. So in order to do that, we need a 5/16 Allen wrench, and then the button head cap screws in the middle there, we're going to want to loosen them up because they're what's holding that counterbalance plate to the top, in other words. So we need to loosen them so that we can use a 1/4 inch Allen wrench to adjust these socket head cap screws down, and that will push the counterbalance plate down, lifting up that far side. And you'll just have to mess around with it until you get the adjustment correct. You'll want to make sure that you adjust both sides of the counterbalance plate the same amount, otherwise you can create kind of a ramp and it's going to be hard to move the top roll in and out. But this is what a good adjustment should look like. You can see it comes out of the frame and doesn't drop down, goes back in, and just barely touches the frame and slides in perfectly. So that's a good adjustment. The safety cable switch is an integral part of WDM safety, and we need to make sure it is adjusted accurately. So whenever it's tripped, it powers off the machine, you reset it, and the machine will work again. But in order for it to work properly, this red line needs to be between the 2 black lines on the safety cable switch, and that is adjusted by the tension that's applied to the cable. So on the other side of the machine, there's a wing nut you can tighten to make sure that red line stays between the 2 black lines and it functions properly. Now that concludes the maintenance that needs to be done on the 310 series. You can reinstall the end cover on the drive housing there, and with the 5 7/32 bolts, and we're good to go and up and running. If you guys have any other questions that I didn't cover here, or anything at all in regards to WDM plate rolls, please comment below, or give us a call or reach out to us on our website.